Welcome back to Signals on
You are sending
91.
the link.
I would.
My friends too have been asking me, are they recording?
Yes, we're recording it and we're live on Facebook,
Okay.
so you can watch us and watch our conversation. This morning we're looking at education and funding. Now, a larger part of our Nigerians have traveled abroad on behalf of education. They just want to live one way or the other, and it's always about going abroad to study further, which is there's nothing bad in doing so. But what the problem is, and the conversation, and I remember having a conversation with someone, I'm like, yes, everybody is jackpine. Where is the money coming from? How are you going to raise money, at least to leave the country, to say you want to further abroad, further your studies abroad? You should have like 10 million, like accounting. Anyway, I have with me somebody that I've admired so far. Like, special thanks to Uncle Yomi, who made it happen for me. She is, I have profile, 1-page profile. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to pick. She's the pioneer, managing director, chief executive officer, and co-founder of Edfin Microfinance Bank. That's one. Number two, she's on the board. She's on the board of different companies. That's two. She has presented several lectures and speeches, both locally and internationally, on different capacity building, small scale industries, and young entrepreneurs. Area of capacity, yes, young entrepreneurs, SME financing, as well as being part of special work groups on various issues. That's three. Yes, and finally, he's innovative, result-oriented team leader with an outsourcing track record of excellence in both career, academic endeavors, offering significant management experience gained in startup and established for profit and non-profit in Nigeria and the UK. I have with me Miss Bunmi Lawson.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's always good to come on radio and share our thoughts on education.
Now, we're talking education and funding. Recently, we've had people leave. Like, most of the doctors have left. People are leaving for greener pastures. But the question is, where do we find the money to live? That's my first question.
Well, it's various ways. A lot of people even go to very drastic measures to be able to fund what has now been known as Jakwa. Some people sell their house, their cars, everything. But there are other ways to do it well. Some banks like my bank provide funding for you to be able to go. You can get a student loan, which is a proper student loan that you repay only after graduation. But we want to be sure that you have admission to the best of the schools. Okay. You're doing mostly a STEM course, and that's the employability of the course you're doing, and the university is very high, so that you can repay the loan.
Okay. Now, before we continue with that job, that would come later. Let's look at education and how far have you seen the Nigerian education system?
Yeah, the reason why I went into education finance was because really I felt that the state of Nigerian education needs help. And when we look at the problems across the education sector, there are various, from shortage of teachers, inadequate infrastructure, the curriculum sometimes not being relevant to what the workforce needs, and all of those problems. But we also noted that education finance, funding for education was very limited. Government is supposed to spend, UNESCO gives a rate of at least 6% of your GDP should be towards education. But Nigeria has consistently, in the last 10 years, spent less than 1% of GDP on the education sector. Even in the budget, they're less than 5%. So funding for education is really, really low. And then also, my argument is that even that funding, I think, goes to the wrong place. It typically goes for recurrent expenditure, the ministries, the parastatals, and all of those things, than actually reaching the students, the people that we want to go to school. So very limited opportunities for scholarships, and you can see what's happening with the ASU strike, and all of that. Teachers feel they are underpaid. The profession is not as attractive as
it used to be.
Yes, exactly. So there is a lot of problem there. And then those who run private schools, a lot of people in Nigeria, especially if you look at the poverty rate, is so high. So they feel they can't afford to go to those schools, you know. So that's why we created this. Let's support with private sector funding, because government alone can't do it. So that's some of the things.
I keep hearing government alone can't do it. And I feel that government has the money, well, taxpayers' money anyway, and all that money, that they can't. I'm wondering why the government can't focus on education. At least, if we can get everything right, entertainment is our greatest export. Why can't we get education right?
Yes.
Knowing that we are the leaders of tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. So education is really critical. You need leadership that believes that education is important. You know, where you have a system that allows our leaders not really be concerned about the level of education they themselves have
And enjoy.
before they can and can run. The priority in terms of education will be very, very low. So that's one of the things that we see, that the leaders themselves have to believe that education is important for them to be able to focus on that. So that's one of the key things. But again, the issue also when you look at Nigeria is that we have too many problems, from electricity, water, petrol, diesel. Look at the queues. How many things would government focus on? I'm not giving them an excuse, but I'm just saying that I can, sort of say, okay, why are they not focusing on education? It's almost like education is long term. Education, you don't see the results immediately. Yeah. So governments come in, they want to build construct the road. Everybody is clapping and thinking they've done something. Until later, they now see that my children can't go to school. Okay, we have a nice road, but I can't afford to buy a car, and all of those things. So those are some of the issues. We need to highlight the fact that education is critical. When you look at economies that have really grown, China, India, and all
Finland.
of those. You will see that the focus on education has been what has consistently made them, be sustainable, income continue to grow, and better living standards for their people.
Okay, so before this, I'm coming for government. Let's look at the private sector and let's look at public schools. While we have the nice buildings, yes, while we'll have the nice buildings, the quality of education, the quality of what they teach in school is another thing to look at. Now in the era where everything is online, right? COVID forced a lot of schools to start to do online classes, and which was a lot for a lot of parents, right? But again, the quality of academics, education academics is a bit, you come out and you're looking like, okay, but did you just go to school?
Yes. So the quality of education, we have, consistently, I would say that employers of labor have consistently complained that the quality of education is declining on a general note. What are those issues? Number one is the teachers. You see, when you say the quality of education has gone down, teachers too go to school to learn to become teachers. So of course it also affects them. And so when you now have teachers who are, need even to improve the level of education they are getting to become good teachers, what pool would the private sector actually pull from for them to have teachers? And you can see with the Jaguar syndrome and all of that,
the talent,
the talent is really low. Teachers too are one of those that have the opportunity to go to other countries. So then investment in training those teachers is an issue. So those are some of the things. And what is the teacher's pay? So the best of us that should really go into the teaching profession are not. So those are some of the issues why you see that generally. But there are other issues too, like the curriculum. How relevant
is our curriculum
to the workforce? Because I keep saying, if you're in primary school today, you're training that child to work in another 15, 20 years, depending on if the person goes to secondary school, university, and all of that. So is the training that we're teaching them today even relevant for today? Talk less of in 20 years. What would they need then? Do you get? So education has to be futuristic. Yes, futuristic about the needs in the future.
Now we're having that talent gap, and we're very big on human capacity. Now, what have you seen, and how can we bridge it? People are leaving. We can't stop them from leaving, right? How do we then say that the people that are leaving, and the people that we have, how do we safeguard the people that we have?
So what I feel is that we need to add in technology and be innovative how we look at the teaching profession. First of all, when I say technology, we have online learning. You talked about that. There are some universities now that
Online.
yes, online, fully online, and they offer you a recognized degree. Yes. So even I know that at the lower levels of primary school, because attention span for children is difficult. But how can we use technology to make teaching more effective? So how, are we recording videos? Are we using animation? Are we using virtual reality? All of these things. And I know it costs money. You know, so that those are the things that help the private sector. Yeah, so that's where we come in to provide funding so that you can have all these facilities. But those are some of the innovative things. Then the other thing is, I've always argued with, proposed to government that NYC, what are we using that for? While they are in camp, teach people to become teachers, to teach, so that by the time they go out, the priority should be that they should go and teach primary and secondary school. So of course, when you are doing that teaching, not everybody is a good teacher, and God forbid that we send bad people into schools and all of that. But at least you'll be able to get 50% that are well trained. So those ones can go into teaching, so that it supplements the gap that we have in teaching. And then I always say, even as people retire from work, volunteer. You have a lot of experience that you can share, you know. And then with the online facility, creates online training programs, especially in the area of soft skills. That's one area that I see that in the workplace
It's lacking.
It's lacking. A lot of Nigerians lack those skills. So you record presentation skills, how to talk, all of that, even as an individual. Put it on YouTube. When you go on YouTube, the India market is amazing. You know, yes, so free. So why are we Nigerians not also volunteering ourselves to train and provide that knowledge online? So
there are two things. We're going to talk about funding very soon, but I want us to build a groundwork where, number one, when you talked about NYC, I am a coach against scrapping. Like, let's scrap because we're not seeing anything. But now that you have brought another angle, but again, some of the corporates will say they are going to teach, but I'm wondering, you came out of the same system. What are you teaching? That's one. Number two is, how do we get more people who are retiring to volunteer themselves to go back to secondary school, primary schools, and teach?
Yeah. So the civil society too can help there. I recall that a friend of mine actually had this. In fact, we still even have some, like Teach for Nigeria, that also does, you know, train them and then send them to go and train. But even there was another one, I think it was for Lajurutoi, that where retirees and professionals could volunteer, and then he allocates them to public schools to go and teach like mass English, you know, basic courses. And so that's the thing I would say, that if you've gone out of university, you should be able to at least teach primary level English and maths, you know, writing and reading skills, you know, those basic things. But I do feel that before you become a teacher, you need to be trained. So use the camp time, that 1 month, get people to come and teach us coppers how to teach. So I don't think, because what you see now is that they do all these copper things that are not relevant, then send them to secondary schools to go and teach, and they have no teaching skills, or, you know, so I feel that part of what should happen in NYC should be to teach people how to teach, you know. So those are some of the ideas that I have, that even civil society form groups of volunteers, so that yes, you then give them training, you have a set curriculum. And if you are a civil society, where do you want to focus? Maybe it's reading skills, maybe it's mathematics, maybe it's science, coding. There's a lot that people are doing in terms of coding and IT these days, you know. So those kind of things can be replicated to support our education.
Now, you talked about funding, paying teachers. Now, payment of salaries, ensuring that the teacher, the trainer, trains our children well. Like Fela would say, this teacher don't teach me nonsense. How do we ensure that teachers are well cared for, that they can pass the knowledge on?
You know, one of the first things, and I felt, yes, I know it may be controversial, but I feel that something simple that government can do to promote the teaching profession is to say, if you are a teacher, don't pay tax. You are not paying tax. Yes.
All of us will flood it.
Yes, exactly. Because you know, so and it doesn't really increase the salaries that you're paying teachers, but it also just gives a sense of that government.
Why important?
Oh, yes, exactly, important. And the other things you could do is, you know, maybe with a teacher's card, you get free transportation or a discount. You know, all those kind of things would sort of make the society feel that, oh, we are holding teachers important. So those are some simple things that can be done to just sort of promote the teaching profession. But I also feel that the training, you know, teacher training schools, how many do we have? Who are the people in those schools that are teaching teachers? So those things. And then one of the studies that I think it was Enduran that did this, looked at the performance in private schools compared to public schools. And it wasn't that the private schools had better facilities or better teachers. In fact, public schools had better trained teachers and, you know, qualified teachers. But parents holding private schools accountable led to an improvement in performance. So involvement of parents in public schools, I believe, would also help to hold teachers accountable. So they come on time. You know, as a parent, check what did the teacher learn. If your teacher, if the student comes back and says, oh, the teacher didn't come, we were just playing, go to the school and complain, report to the ministry, all those Ministry of Education. So parent involvement and holding teachers accountable can also help to improve the teacher quality.
Oh, the second. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm calling you from La Yusuf.
Okay. Comment or question?
So I just called the number from one of my friends this morning.
Okay.
Maybe it was this thing mistake because he was giving me one lady number because I called from one woman from the lady yesterday.
Okay, I think I know what you're doing. It's Signals Business. Signals Business is 10 to 10:15. We're talking education and funding right about now. So if you have questions or comments or WhatsApp, call us. WhatsApp and call us on 009-234-5913 or you call 009-191-3913. We're talking education and funding with Miss Bunmi Lawson. Well, now let's talk about that funding. How easy is it? I look at parents when they can't pay their children's school fees. That's a major headache. I saw something on Facebook saying that you are doing that in December. Remember that there is January school fees.
Yes, exactly.
So where do you come in?
Yes, so we do provide tuition loans through the schools. If you have you know, a school and you want to be able to provide and enable your parents have access to loans, do reach out to us at Edfin. But so we provide tuition loans that follow termly. So because one of the key issues with school fees is that you have to pay for a whole term.
Yes.
You know, so we have some local schools now that actually even allow you to pay monthly and all of that. But, you know, getting a loan means that you can then spread out your payments as it matches your salary and you don't have to put something lump sum. So through the schools, we actually go to Parent Teachers Association, do presentation, and the parents can actually borrow money. And we pay directly to the school. We don't pay to the parents so they don't divert
the funds.
the funding and all of that. So that's one area that we can do. But it also depends also on the level. Like if it's university, we can then lend to the student directly, especially if they have a part-time job, they're working and all those kind of things. So there are quite a number of options. And then I think some states, not for university level, do offer scholarships. I know that there are organizations too that provide scholarships, you know, a lot of foundations. So go online, search for scholarships, you know, even for international study that you can apply for that can help.
Now, you talked about student loans. What's the difference between our student loans here and the foreign students' loans?
Okay, so we do the two actually. So our student loans here typically ask you to repay immediately. So it's almost like your typical consumer loan. So you pay for the school fees and you are repaying immediately. So for us, for the primary, secondary, and maybe Nigerian universities here, you have to do that. So, you know, sometimes you have to pay, get a guarantor, get a collateral as well, you know.
Just
so
make sure
yes,
that
to
you
make
can
sure
pay
that you
back.
can repay the loans. But students loan abroad, and we also offer that for international studies on our approved schools, is that while you are in school, you are not repaying the loan. At most time, you're repaying the interest. Typically, also they don't ask for guarantor, they don't ask for collateral, and then you have a period of moratorium. That is, for us now it's 2 years. That after you graduate, and even they allow up to 6 months after graduation, so that you get a job, and then you can start repay back that loan. And then, of course, it's cheaper, it's single digits. But we also have that for approved schools. So if you go on our website, you will see the list of schools. Yes.
Now, so Signals on 91.3, we're talking education and funding. If you have questions or comments for our guest, education and funding, Signals business is next week Saturday morning. The numbers to call is 009-191-3913. 009-222-0913 or WhatsApp 009-234-5913. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Julian calling from Bagada.
Okay.
Yeah, first, mine is a comment.
Okay.
Yeah, the woman there in the studio talked about
Lawson.
coppers going to teaching school. That was actually what I did. Even in my camp, I told them specifically, send me to a school.
Okay.
Send me to a public school. But actually send me to a private school. But when I got to private school, I started teaching because I read chemical engineering.
Okay.
But some teachers were like, you didn't use the education, you can't teach well. But at the end of the day, I thought, well, the school retained me, but then the salary was small.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just too small. I was paid 40,000 naira for a month. And then half of that went to transportation. You understand? So for education in Nigeria, we just want government to do more. Just like myself now.
Are you still teaching?
I won't tell you that. I love it.
You're still teaching? Are you still teaching?
Yeah, teaching. Yeah, I love. No. For now, I just have one health challenge, so I just had to drop out.
Okay.
But then, if I'm able to get another one again, I'll most certainly. But the problem I have with Nigeria is they'll tell you have to study education for you to teach.
Okay, that's another.
That is it. I read chemical engineering, both first and second degree.
Okay.
But then I love it.
Thank you so much. Let me quickly take others. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please reduce the volume on your radio set.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, teaching as well. Let me look at the education. The education system is actually really, really bad. And another thing is, our parents, we do have a lot of role to play. Then, most of the time when you get to school, a parent will tell you, my child is supposed to be in primary 3, supposed to be in primary 5. Please promote my child. So you get.
I get you.
So with that, so it is as if because I pay this amount, so you have to do it for me.
Okay.
So with that, education system it doesn't. And then another thing, how can now, for example, there's a school at Ishaga that the teachers are supposed to be paid for this break. They've not been paid. And when they come back and they just do I don't care and it doesn't concern me how much they even pay me that kind of attitude, you understand?
Okay, I get you. Please, what's your name and where you calling us from?
I am Mrs. Akimia. I am calling from Lagos State.
Thank you. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, your name and where you calling us from?
My name is Benson from Ikeja.
Okay, Benson, welcome. Question or comment?
So I wanted to ask Mrs. Lawson,
Okay.
education, is this a transaction?
Is education a transaction?
When I finish from school, do I owe that school anything in terms of giving back when I have paid school fees? Because you talk about school fees now. When people don't pay school fees, they stop the children from coming to school. So, on one hand, it would appear like a transaction, but yes, education is always considered a social investment.
Thank you. Wow. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello? Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Please reduce the volume.
Okay, my name is Obinai.
Okay.
I wanted to find out the website, the name of the microfinance bank, the website, and possibly the phone numbers of who to contact, especially for school abroad loans, or maybe maybe proof of funds or whatever it is.
You want to leave us
So
and me? No problem.
Not really. But the truth is that, like your guest, Ms. Bunmi Lawson, has said, if you look at all the problems that is beleaguering Nigerians now, everybody is looking for the better way out.
Okay.
And it may interest you to know that most of the people in leadership positions have their children outside this country enjoying quality education. And they will not say that they are not seeing it. So if we can have other ways of jackpotting, as it were,
it's all right.
We will find a way to do that.
No problem.
So let her throw more light, the name of the microfinance
She
bank,
will do that. She's ready for you.
the phone number and website, what to look at.
Okay then. Thank
So
you.
that all other listeners can actually benefit, even myself. You never can tell.
Obina,
Thank you.
bye-bye. Go ahead, Martha. Let's take Obina's question.
Yes,
We'll go back.
Obina's question first. Thank you very much for that question, Obina. Well done. The bank is called Edfin Microfinance Bank. So Edfin is for education finance, or short form education finance. So our website is edfinmfb.com. So when you check it, all the things, information about the various loans that we provide, study abroad, even you can apply right there online. Everything, the requirements, the list is all there. And the phone numbers that you can reach us on, let me quickly get that. But let me ask, let me continue talking about the other
Issues.
yes,
we
other
raised.
issues. Yes, so go onto our website. Both schools, we provide them with loans. If you want, or if you're a student or a parent and you need a loan for whatever form of education, please go onto our website. The phone number you can call is 0816 794 0931. Okay,
Call it again.
0816 794 0931.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the other guy who said is giving
Education a transaction.
Yes.
Yes. It's an interesting question the way he framed it. Do I owe the school? And school being a social investment. That's why you see a lot of politicians promise free education. Really, education, in fact, the Sustainable Development Goal 4 talks about education access, free education access for all up to secondary level. You know, really should be something that all governments strive to do. But also they do recognize that private sector too should come in with scholarships to ensure that people have access to education. So do you owe your school? I will say yes. Even when you go to a normal business and you buy something, you know, loyalty counts for something. So you will see that some of the best public schools are those where the alumni come back and are also supporting the school with teaching, with infrastructure. You know, they set up scholarships as well for the best students and all of that. So you do need to give back to the school. And most schools, before they start saying, oh, they're sending students out because they didn't pay school fees, I'm telling you, I know that they have tried everything and maybe they too have reached, you know, the wall and there's no other options. From most of the schools that we interact with, especially low income affordable, they bend over backwards to make sure that, in fact, there's a school that I know that almost 50% of their students don't pay and they still allow them to graduate because they feel that, oh, they will come back and then when they get a job ahead and give back. So those are the things, but it's tough, especially in the Nigerian economic environment.
Now the two other questions are about salary being small and they don't want to pay on time.
Exactly. So for teachers, honestly, that salary issue, it's a double-edged sword, you know, because, you know, affordability, if you increase teachers' school salaries, the school fees automatically just go up and then people may not be able to afford it. But we also provide loans to teachers so that they too, because one of the things we've noticed is because they have low pay, most banks don't look at teachers. So we at Edfin provide them with loans so that they too, like Christmas, you want to buy something, you know, you will need lump sum. One of the things also that we notice that teachers actually don't earn salaries typically during vacation. You know, so that long holiday,
what are they doing?
Yes, how are they earning money and all of that? So we really need to do something about teachers. And some of it, as I said, just say don't pay tax or get discounts because you are holding a teacher's card would go a long way. It doesn't have to be only increase in salaries.
Because it's almost looking like we have to make education attractive for people to say. So look at the guy who read chemical engineering and he wants to teach. Now he read something that your love for teaching, right? And your salary is small, fine. But how do we get more people loving teaching and are able to share? Because we don't share, we don't like to share knowledge. It's almost as if that thing that the white people say that if you want to hide something from the black man, put it in a book because they would not read. So how then do we make it attractive that people would want to volunteer the time to teach?
Yes. So what I feel is that, you know, one of the issues he raised was that people will say you can't teach if you don't have a teaching qualification. So I feel that the National Union of Teachers, and then there's a council that is in charge of teachers' education, should have like a short course. You know how you, like, for instance,
executive course?
Yes, that people who are interested in teaching can do. Short course, 3 months, they will even pay for it. That gives them a teaching diploma or a certificate. So that way they have the basics of teaching and it can actually help them. So I do think that teaching, we need to be able to encourage more volunteers to come into the teaching profession. And it won't have, because the number of teachers scarcity is very, very high. Yeah, so we cannot even meet it. The teacher-student ratio that is the best is 1 to 20. Imagine Nigeria, we have 200 million. Let's say half of them are of student age. How many teachers does that translate to? We don't have that number. So those are the
okay
issues.
So still on finance, how do you then recover the loans that you are giving out? Because
so the first one is that's why if I look at the typical student loan, the best of where you repay after graduation, what you look at is that what's the employability of the school. What, you know, the school should always track what is my student doing after they leave my school. Did they get jobs? How are they earning income and all of that? So we can use those numbers to be able to provide loans, even without collateral, because we know that they are going to be employed. Now in Nigeria, we have BVN, we have our NIN, so we can track people. So once you're able to track them, if you goes to a job, and your job too is checking whether you are owing somebody, the checking credit bureau and all of that before they give it to you, will find that people start repaying their loans. But for the others, we still have to go the traditional way. You have to provide a guarantor or collateral that we have to look at, and we take other sorts of collateral. We can take your jewelry,
just
fridge,
make sure.
exactly. And not that we possess it. We have now the movable collateral registry where you can then put down that you've pledged even your AC generator, your car.
Yes, something. It's not hard.
Yes, it's not hard on them.
Now, there's something you raised that let's play trouble a little, right? The salary is small. If they increase teacher salary, they automatically increase school fees. There's some schools that their school fee is exorbitant, right? And still they don't get to pay their teachers. That's why I said let's look for trouble a little bit.
Yes. So where it's arguable, I feel that some of them may be paying their teachers better. Okay. But again, they will too argue that if you look at the investment they've made on infrastructure, so most of those schools that have high-end, if you go to their boarding schools, and you will think you're in a hotel. The facilities, they have swimming pool that has to be maintained, sports club, electricity, you know.
The overhead is high.
Yes, if some of them, they are renting, oh my God, and even if you have to buy the capital, and then most of them would have taken some loans to be able to make sure, so they have to repay those loans and all of that. So, yes, you know, what I feel though is the income levels in Nigeria just need to go up so that people can afford to pay for services that they enjoy.
Okay. Numbers to call is 009-191-3913 or WhatsApp 009-234-5913. We're talking education and funding, and I have like 7 minutes to go, so we're going to make use of the time. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where?
Okay, my name is Mark. I'm calling from Magodo.
Okay.
Okay, I just like what I'm hearing about what the guest in the studio is talking about.
Yes,
but the question I want to ask, or my little contribution here, is that most times all these products, we hear about them, they sound so good and nice. But you now want to try, you meet a totally different thing. I've actually been to that bank once. I saw it online. Nobody spoke to me. I went there. The service was terrible. From the security, I wanted to park my vehicle.
He didn't even answer me. And I
We're
said, go
sorry
and repack.
about that.
I sat inside the banking hall. I didn't see anybody inside the office. I was standing until someone eventually came. And the two people who attended to me said I should send a mail. I sent the mail. I've been receiving that mail for over 1 month. That they sent it to remind them. But not getting anything.
Just hold on, right? She's here and she can answer.
So they sound good. But because Nigerians who now implement them, you will get the opposite.
Okay.
Chief executive may not even be aware of what it is.
Okay, so she's here. Thank you for the feedback.
Yes, thank you very much for the feedback. I apologize for the inconvenience that you faced. That is not our behavior. At Edfin, we want to provide world-class service to you. So please do come back again. But first of all, we don't actually encourage people to come to our branches. Please go to our website. You can apply there online and we'll come back to you. The application, everything, you will get an email telling you all the stages of your loan. So you don't really have to come to the office. Please go to the website. But also call the number that I shared earlier and someone would attend to you. I should call this out again. 0816 794 0931. Okay, so just call that number.
Now how was so let's go back in time, right? How was education back then and now? What's different?
Well, well, a lot. You know, I would say somebody talked about the role of parents.
Yes.
In our own time, I think the role of parents were really key. Parents held the schools accountable and to check, you know, your level of education. Then the issue of community. You know, we had friends, your parents. It took a village to raise a child, and the village was actually participating. But now, you've lost all of that. Yes, exactly. Don't touch her. No, you know, we live in silos. You know, yeah. So it's really poor. And then, of course, funding of education is far lower now compared to before. You know, most people, they challenge them. The public school that you went to, can you send your child today?
No.
Unfortunately, we know. So we ourselves need to give back to those schools, especially the public schools, support them to actually be able to provide better education. Volunteer. You know, I know, yes, government can do way better, you know, than they currently do. But I think also private sector, once we start to hold the schools accountable and we are volunteering, then you have something that you can also hold government accountable for. That you will say, I know you are not doing this. Yet you collected education tax. This is the budget that was allocated. Why are you spending? You know, so we need to hold both government accountable, but also support the schools.
Now, still on before and now, when a generation where everybody's asking why, before you do anything, why?
Yeah.
Before you do anything, why? Right? And it's making the generation before us say, no, now we didn't used to ask questions. Now, for students who are in classes and they don't know how to ask questions, they don't want to raise up their hand for fear of being silenced by the teacher or by parents or anything. How then do we encourage them?
Well, the first thing I would say is put up that hand, ask the questions, but also go online. Social media has given us a voice. Use it. So go online, look for the information. Then if you have a complaint, first of all, tell the school, the teacher, and what have you. And if they're silent, you use social media. Let's talk more. I'm not one that supports that we are keeping quiet. I feel that that's partly why we have the kind of governance that we have, because we keep quiet, we are so docile and everything. People call it resilience. I call it being docile. We need to talk more. We need to protest. We need to ask for our rights. We need to ask for information. You know, that's what gives power. You know, and if you don't hold leaders accountable, then they would misbehave. It's the same thing. So that's it.
Final was, what are your predictions for education in the years to come?
Well, I'm always a positive person. I believe that education would improve. There are a lot of initiatives out there. There are volunteers group, for instance, ERIT also volunteers for education reform. We are working with government to make sure that we can do reform. So I want to see a positive like that, where Nigerians have access both internationally, online, in class, and all of that, and that education improves, so that Nigeria's number one resource is actually its human resource. It is a plus. But if we don't educate the resource that we have, then it becomes as if it's a liability. We need to educate our people so that they can thrive. And if you see what Nigerians are doing all over the world, exactly. Why are we not doing it in
there
our
was
country?
a particular stuff I saw. It was even sent to me, and they go, look at everything. Nigerians are in the class. Like half of Nigerians.
Hertfordshire, yes.
Nigerians are in the class.
Yes,
so we're hoping that as you are jackman, you can jackman that
to contribute back to the country. So that's why I support, going abroad the proper way, getting an education, but coming back to give. Either you set up through your old association, set up a scholarship fund so that Nigerians have access. You too, what are you volunteering? How are you contributing? Record something about presentation. If you've gone in a class and you think it's interesting that Nigerians, record it, show it on YouTube so that Nigerians have access. So Nigerians in diaspora need to have an active way that they're contributing back to Nigeria. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is one of the freest conversations I've had without warning of advert and all of that. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, to everyone who has called in, I know we're worried about proprietors and proprietresses. Please pay well. Please, students, come to school. Parents, you are trying. Yes, parents, you are trying. Parents, you are trying. I can imagine that sometimes school is time for school fees and you're looking for the monies everywhere. Thank you.
Come to Edfin.
Okay, she said come to Edfin. I'm saying thank you so much. Thank you so much for sending us to school. Until we come your way again next week Saturday, like we always say, dream again, create opportunities for people, and because people will be people, keep creating opportunities. Have a wonderful week and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.